The illegal drug market is worth more than $650 billion. The law enforcement agencies use a wide range of methods to detect and catch drug smugglers. This is why illegal traffickers employ inventive methods to transport and smuggle drugs across the border, and here are the most creative ones. Drone deliveries. In recent years, drones gained huge popularity among smugglers as they get to choose from small and inexpensive drone models for small batches of product to heavy-loaded 6- and 8-motor narco drones for a truly commercial load of drugs. The last ones will cost more than $5,000 and carry up to 35 pounds. The whole idea behind the drone transportation lays in bypassing traditional smuggling routes through the borders. Although authorities catch some of these drones, it's quite difficult to track how many narco drones cross the border each day, as this aerial method got so popular and widely used. Criminals who are moving big loads of product even had to create the whole flying route network for these drones so they don't crash into each other, as there are so many of them in the air at the same time. Submarine smuggling. Drug cartels also use semi-submersible vessels to transport narcotics underwater. This method is a rather expensive way to move the product, as the vessel may cost up to $2 million up front to fabricate. However, these submarines are capable to move more than $100 million worth of cocaine in a single time. Submarines make it challenging for law enforcement to detect illegal hauling activities, as patrol units only travel on the surface of the water, far above these submarines. Body cavity concealment. Although the initial report of body packing was made more than 30 years ago, this method is still a common way of drug trafficking. To do that, individuals who are called body packers usually swallow the packaged drug or, on the extreme side, go through a substance placement surgery where the drug is put into latex package or container and then placed inside of their gastrointestinal tract. The biggest issue here is that the carrier can get an acute drug toxicity from a ruptured package during the transportation, and this batch will be lost, and the transporter ends up in prison. However, smugglers make their way around it by using improved packaging materials to make the entire transportation experience more easygoing for both body packer and the drug inside of them. Liquid cocaine. A quite inventive way to smuggle drugs is to dissolve cocaine into a liquid, and not just to transport gallons of magic liquid that would be too easy to detect by any regular routine inspection, but to soak clothes, paper, or other porous materials that have decent sponge abilities in this cocaine solution. Drug traffickers soak the chosen material in the liquid, dry it, and transport it to the destination. Later on, when they need to get cocaine in its original state, this process is reversed in a lab to extract the drug without losing a single gram of it. The only downside of this method that makes it vulnerable in terms of detection by the law enforcement is that the weight of the original material increases by around 15%, which can be noticeable when you look at the weight of such container. Comparing it to a statistic data how much regular containers with the same amount of goods usually weigh. Tunnels and underground passages. Even though digging miles underground requires a lot of preparation, knowledge in engineering, and heavy instruments, the idea is straightforward. Sophisticated tunnels, often equipped with ventilation and lighting systems, have been constructed to transport drugs beneath border walls and checkpoints. This is a very isolated and private way of transporting illegal goods while staying low and undetected. However, everything comes to an end sooner or later, simply because of the huge amount of people being involved in such projects, some of which talk more than others. Covert airfields and airdrops. Although this method is very old and not particularly innovative, it is still being widely used by criminal organizations. Smugglers set up makeshift airfields in remote areas to facilitate airdrops of drugs from aircraft, evading traditional border controls. Surely enough, locations of such airdrops and runways become known to the law after a while. But the problem is getting solved by setting up another spot just like the previous one. Of course, with its own complications like setting up new undetectable safe routes for the aircrafts and finding another secluded location for the airfield, which requires anywhere from 50 acres of land depending on what kind of aircraft you are going to use for your illegal cargo. Innocent tourist scheme. Smugglers often use everyday items anyone has in their life that attract little to no attention. This method is used to move such liquid substances like dense cannabis oil. Criminals remove original content from commonly used shampoo bottles or sunscreen tubes, then put the substance they need to transport, masking such tubes as a regular item in any tourist luggage. The only thing here is that smugglers cannot put large quantities of such containers all in one suitcase, as that will instantly draw unnecessary attention to their baggage. This is why innocent tourist schemes works only for hauling small quantities of illicit products. And here's a little bonus to our illegal drug trafficking list. Although this technique is only partly used to transport the drugs, I see it as a creative way to store and exchange the substances between different parties. Aquatic drug trafficking. Smugglers from one side transports the drug package to the remote location in the ocean in deep waters where the package is less likely to be accidentally discovered. Then the package is attached underwater using either buoyancy devices or anchor to the ocean floor. After this, the location of the goods is revealed to the other party by sending the exact GPS coordinates. The waterproof container with product is designed to float when released underwater, which makes it easy to retrieve with the use of specialized equipment, and then transport it to its intended destination for further distribution. As long as this drug transit zone stays far away from the sight of others, this way of drug smuggling allows one to keep the product inside a container safe for a long time until it needs to be released. This whole cat and mouse game showcases the ever-adapting nature of the illicit drug industry. Both sides, drug trafficking organizations and law enforcement agencies, compete worldwide in this high-stakes, constantly evolving game by adopting innovative technologies and strategies to outsmart the opponents. Let me know if this information was interesting to know, and maybe you can share other creative ways of drug transportation you have heard of in the comments.